If you clicked on this video, I just want you to know that I know that you know that I know that this is not an easy subject, right? But you're here, right? There's some props and kudos, given to us for this, right? For Presence Project, welcome. If you're new, we're not shying away from nothing here, right? So, I want to talk about that dirty word, right? Addiction. Um, and just be very upfront that this is not your typical discussion about this, right? So, I'll start off by saying that this is for anyone. Like, if you're, for example, I'm 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 talking to addicts, right? It could be actively using, it could be recovering, right? It's still a battle. And or the big doozy is very high functioning addicts, right? uh and if you're someone who is affected by a loved one, right? I ask you to um put them aside, put them out of your mind, because that is a whole different subject, right? Because I also know about that. Um, put them aside for a second if you're dealing with that, and this is more about you and your addiction to something, because we all have something. And if you're like, nope, I am great, I have nothing, maybe there's just a little more to explore there, because especially in the current climate of things, and what's where how we cope, and what's going on, and like there's just an overloaded nervous system. Like we'll find ways to cope, like it will, regardless of what you think your it, you know that there's addictions to like good things too, right? So if you're someone who's like dealing with like an addict, just please put that aside for a second if you can. If it's not too triggering, right? So to be able to just look at your own self, and the things that you're like, oh, damn, well, I do that. And maybe there's a definition that we need here besides your usual terminology. Like, right, like, if you're someone who's like very versed and all that, like, I'm not even going there. It's more about like, I want to talk about specifically the definition of addiction, in the sense of like, are you doing something that if people knew how much of that you do, you'd be a little, eh, maybe more than a little, embarrassed, or just you know that it's something that like others would deem unhealthy, or uncouth, or on something, right? It's not, you would, the shame that you feel when you do this thing or do too much of this thing. If somebody were to find out like how much I need this, or whatever your reasoning is. So the definition is shame, basically, of doing that thing that you're doing. That if anyone were to find out that that's like something that like I really need um to deal with my life, then I would have major shame around that. That's the addict discussion that I want to have today, the addiction discussion. So that we can look at it. So it's such a broad, it's so huge. If we can just focus on this little corner of it for a second. So the thing about it is, and I gotta tell you, like, it triggers me to no end. And I know what it's for, right? But like in spiritual circles, which we're all like attracted to this type of information, because we're rising and we're doing our thing. um I hear this a lot, and it's the phrase, you have to let go of the things that are no longer serving you in order to elevate, in order to manifest, in order to XYZ, right? And every time you hear that, it just goes right back to like, oh well, I know what my thing is that is no longer serving me. Exhibit A, right? Um, and so they say I should just let go, right? And here's the thing. Thought for the day, right? Because I am not here to tell anybody to stop doing what they're doing. I'm not. Like, if you know anything about this, like, no, this is just it's a personal decision. You know what you want to do, when you want to do it, and you and the divine are in direct conversation over this thing and how it is or isn't limiting your life, right? And depends on what it is. Again, very broad. But if you could just think about the fact that, letting go of the things that are no longer serving you, right? And we're a little triggered by that when we think about, like, oh, I'm addicted to this thing, right? It is serving us. And I'd like you to think about how it's serving you. And this is why you don't let it go or can't let it go, or, even though you feel all this shame and guilt and everything else around it due to, what people think about you, if they knew, or if they do know, or, depends on the level of severity and all that. But we got to stop thinking like, we get in the shame spiral and the guilt spiral. It's not serving me. It's not serving me, but it is serving you because you keep choosing it every time. Every single time you choose to do that thing, it's for a reason. And a lot of people are like, get to the root of like your trauma or what's going on with it. And sometimes it's like a habit so ingrained at this point. God knows if you've had a lot of trauma, like, and you've been using that thing to cope for a very long time. And I'm talking, that's like where you get the high functioning part is key here. So especially for my people that are like high functioning with the thing, is like, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not, it's just something that I do, and it only affects me. So like, leave me with it, right? And that's where it's like, okay, let's think about why we feel guilty about it. Well, it's, I shouldn't, and it like it really, but what is it serving? What is it serving within you to do that? Like, and that's where like getting present to it without like, get the bullshit shame and guilt out the way. Fuck everybody, right? I don't care what anybody's thinking about this thing. It's, you have an intimate relationship with it for a reason, right? And I've been thinking and exploring, like that I guess that intimacy thing, where there's a connection that you feel there. And that's like a root thing, so when it's like, when I say it's serving you in some way, is just kind of like, you know like, whether it's I feel like it's like an old friend when I interact with it. I feel like it's something I look forward to. I feel like it lifts me to a more a vibration where that I would like to be at, rather than feeling low, or you're using it as a tool basically, right? Um, because something is missing, because and I just wonder if, like, just shining that light directly to it, like, okay, fuck all this guilt and shame, and let me just look at it like, hey buddy, why do I like feel like I need you, or want you, or you know how are you serving me? And truly hear those answers, like it's not like you're not, and like I know that it's bad. No, no. There's a true, like, I feel less lonely when I do it, or when I whatever, I feel, and it all roots, comes down to a feeling. Uh a sense of relief, maybe, or, like, just and it's not gonna necessarily fix it for us, but, like, just the hard conversation with self, fuck everybody, like I say, with self, needs to happen, in the, like, hey, I'm aware, I'm conscious, like, I'm not gonna hide anymore, that it's like, I think about how much of this I do, if I do too much or something at night, you know what I mean? Like, and it bothers me, because I'm afraid of what others will think, that whole loop is what's especially not serving you, right? Because if you really think about source and the divine, God, like, they're not thinking about that. They're not thinking about, like, what a loser you are for doing this. No, no, no. So just remember that the baseline for source is love. Like, you're perfect, literally, just as you are, doing the thing. And the only concern with the divine has is, like, but you're feeling really bad about this. You're ruminating, you're blaming yourself, you're feeling guilty, you're feeling weird. That's affecting your vibration. So that's where source is like, uh, is this something you want to stop? Um, so just know that you're like we think like it's because I'm ashamed, I'm inherently bad, right? And like God's looking at me like, girl, you need to stop this. And that's not what's happening. It's the negative thoughts, it's the anxiety, it's the guilt trips, the everything, that the voice that just like eats you alive, that is messing with your, you know what I mean? So if you just get really friendly with it and say like, hey, the divine's got my back. I am loved no matter what. Imagine that. Like, I'm perfect as I am. So like, are you here because like, because I just felt like you were my friend at some point, like you helped me through some tough times, like we have, it's a relationship, right? So whether you're like, I'm gonna break up with you now, like, that's completely up to you. But like, I feel like there's a believe it or not, like there's a level of like mutual care and respect here, that like may be nice to explore. I know, but just better than just hearing like, let go of what's no longer serving you. Like, it's obviously serving me. That's why I do it, right? But I'm not going to unconsciously do it anymore. Like, it's just like, oh, it's just something I do. So if you're doing it just blindly every day, this is routine, this is what I do, coffee, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what it is. Like, it's just how I've been for the last 20 years, right? I gotta have 6 cups, or you know what I'm saying? And if you're feeling guilt about it, I shop like crazy. Like just think about things that are relatable to you. If you're not doing the hard stuff that like, ooh, people are shunning that. But like, you know that even if it's something that I like to work out, but you're going a little, like I don't know, shout out to my people with eating disorders. Like I know what that is, and I know what working out around that feels like. And so great, everybody thinks that I'm just um hitting the gym, right? But you know what you're doing. You know why you're doing it, and that you're guilting yourself because you're like, I gotta do this. And you know there's like a link that's not syncing there, because if it felt good, that would be a different story. But if it's just like I have to because I'm what punishing myself, or like just, I guess, I'm no one, like I'm just like, maybe let's explore, aside from this, like, let go, right? It's serving you, so like, what am I getting? What am I getting? What's the benefit? Like, there's something, right? And if that benefit, like, it leads you to then another layer and another layer and another layer of like, oh, well, that's something that I really don't believe anymore. Or like, oh, somebody taught me that, and I don't think that's I don't think that's mine anymore. Like, it just may unlock something in the relationship that you have with the thing. And who knows, at the very least, if nothing else from this message, I would love it to be a like call to love yourself however you're presenting it right now, whatever you're doing. Just embrace all of it and say, and I'm still worthy, and see what that does. And right, because it all stems from you not feeling like you're enough for whatever. So if it comes off from there, like, okay, if I keep doing this thing, like, I'm gonna consciously, like, when I'm doing it, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm doing it because I feel anxious. Okay, it's okay. I want to soothe you. I want to love on you, so that's why I'm doing it. Okay. Or, I'm doing it because I'm fearful or angry, or, whatever the reasoning is, then give love to whatever it is. Like, oh, I know that you're feeling that way, and you deserve to feel better, and like, that's why you're doing what you're doing, but like, conscious, and that light on it, that presence, it's gotta it's gotta release something in us, right? So if we're letting go of anything, it's of that unworthy guilt, shame cycle that's going on. And once we shine the light on that, like, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm worthy, and I'm here for a reason. And then you focus on purpose, right? And see if, like, maybe you're just like have a lot of pent up creativity in your life that manifests as anxiety or depression, because like you feel stuck and you can't do it. Then you have things that you can do, right? Then you have avenues to like attack this thing that, like, maybe if you're truly like, I don't want this in my life, then it's a way to start, just like accepting yourself first, and letting it be what it is, and letting it be okay. And then the light just once you shine it on something, there's no going back. So at the very least, you'll be forever changed by the attention that you're paying to yourself. And I hope that wasn't too triggering or too hard. Like it's truly I'm right there with you. It's a conversation that like is not had enough in this context, I feel, you know. So if you have any thoughts, like, I it would be helpful to me, right? And to others. Like we're just here sharing energy and trying to figure this shit out together, right? So like a judgment free zone, baby. It's just literally we're here to see what it is, right? So much love to you, and thank you. Thank you for just being vulnerable with me for a second of your day, right? That's all it takes. Like that's more than we did before. So